My name is Lee Sheehy. I am the Senator's Chief of Staff, and I am from Minnesota. On behalf of the staff, let me welcome you.
Okay.
Let me thank you for getting up, including Dawson and Dominic. Of course, this was an excuse to get out of school. From our perspective, having you here is great. Day in and day out, we work for you, for your neighbors, for your family and your friends. So it's motivating to the staff to have you here. But I also know you didn't come to hear me, so with that, I'll turn it over to Senator Klobuchar. One quick question for those who want pictures at the end. We'll do it outside.
Great. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lee. And we've got a great group here today, but I especially wanted to acknowledge Dominic and Dawson who are here. And Dawson has some wet socks from the rain, and I told him that Will Steger, our most famous explorer, has experienced wet socks too. And he got through them, don't you think? But his were where it was really cold, right, Will? And so for those of you who are not familiar with Will has explored the world and is now devoting himself to doing something about climate change. And going, where are you going in the next
Up in the northernmost part of the continent, Ellesmere Island, 500 miles from the pole.
Yeah.
Ice shelves are breaking off there, so we're going to survey those.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have actually our Professor of the Year from Moorhead, right here.
Wow.
Yeah. A biologist, which is very exciting, and so you should. Dave Fredrickson is here from our Minnesota office because the Farm Bill is heading, we hope, sometime to be considered by the Senate. We're trying to get it done. It actually, I think it needs some more reform, but it has some really good things for Minnesota with encouraging cellulosic ethanol that we actually put that in. Hillary is probably out working on that right now. She's our DC person on agriculture. I'm also on the Environment and Public Works Committee. Will and I were just meeting about this. We're trying to get some good climate change legislation. The Senate has not, or the Congress really hasn't done anything in these past Congresses, and this is the first Congress that's finally taking action and not just talking about whether it exists, but how to solve it. And so we are looking at, first of all, in the energy bill, an increase in the gas mileage standards, 10 miles per gallon. It hasn't happened since I was in junior high. And I made the mistake of saying that at the press conference when we announced it, and then two senators came after me and said that they had actually worked on the initial gas mileage standard. So anyway, so we got that done, and then we also have, and we're trying to now negotiate with the House. I'd like to see a renewable electricity standard like we have in Minnesota. As you know, we've done this on a bipartisan basis with the Republican governor and the Democratic legislature, and we're able to get one of the most aggressive renewable electricity standards in the country, 25% reduction by 2025, 30% for Excel, and we just cannot get this through the Senate right now, and it's very frustrating for a lot of us. There's also the finance portion of the energy bill that took a bunch of the oil giveaways and put them to renewable sources, wind and solar, and so we actually had 58 votes for that, too short of the Republicans blocking it with the filibuster, but Senator Johnson was out when he was sick, and he's back now, and he'll vote for it, and then another senator was gone, so we're hoping that we're going to get, that's really the guts of it, because if you can change the money and where the incentives are going, you're going to create some investment in the long term with wind and solar and other forms of renewable. And then the climate change bill is what's in the environmental committee, and we're going to be working on that all through December with the hopes of actually getting a bill out of the committee before we go home for the holidays. That is my goal, and I think it's the goal of Barbara Botzer as well. So the last thing I'll mention is just the Ag Committee, and we really hope that that bill gets done. As I said, there's a lot of very important provisions there for Minnesota, and we want to get something done. It's more money for conservation than in the past, and nutrition and some other things, and I'm going to offer an amendment to limit the subsidies to certain income levels, and we're hoping that we can get this thing done. The other thing that I think is dominating the agenda that you all know about is the war in Iraq. We're going to be voting on that again today. I went to Iraq in March. You can see a picture of me with some of the soldiers there, and saw firsthand the bravery of our soldiers, how they they came up to me. They never complained once about the heat. They were from Minnesota or their equipment or the tour extensions, and they just asked me two things. It was back in March. They asked me the score of the state hockey tournament, but then they'd ask me if I would call their moms and dads when I got home and tell them they were okay. And when I called their moms and dads, I heard a little different stories about what was going on, and I talked to 50 mothers, and the stories of their families waiting for them, thinking they were going to come home for 3 months, and then it was 6 months, and then it was a year, and then it was 2 years. And based on what I saw in Iraq, I really think we need to get some deadlines in place to bring the combat troops home. We're spending $12 billion a month now. $12 billion a month, and then we can't pass children's health care, and the administration vetoes that, and it's just a priorities issue, and I think we need to get the priorities straight right now for working families and for the people of our state. We have been a lot more focused on helping veterans, something that I don't care where people are in the war. I think that there is general agreement that we need to do better for the people that are serving us, no matter what you think of the war. So I want to thank you for coming. Thank you, Will Steger. We're just so proud of the work you're doing, for you being here. And thank you, Dominic and Dawson. You were so good through that whole talk. Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay.